Hey everybody, Rory McDonald from Macdon and Associates coming to you with the next episode of Tuesdays with Rory. And today what we're going to be talking about is something that most people don't ever bring up and don't really understand. And I think that's majority of the reason why this conversation is not had until it needs to be had. Today, we're going to be talking about not first-time home buyers, but second-time home buyers. What I mean by this is maybe you've purchased your first home and it's suited your needs. It's checked off all the boxes for what it is that you needed. You needed a place to sleep, you needed a place to eat, you needed a place to watch TV, and you needed a place to go to the bathroom. You didn't really need anything more than that. And so now you're in a position where, hey, maybe your family is growing, or you're on the other side of that where you had a large family at one point and now people have moved out. People have moved into different homes. They've moved off to college, and you're in a position where it makes sense for you to downsize from the 4 or 5 bedroom home that you're in into a condo, for example, or a single family house that's a ranch and has a little bit of a backyard but not as much grass to cut as you had. Things like that. Downsizing individuals. With that being said, I wanted to jump in here and kind of lay out for you guys, because it seems like it's very unknown, the process and potential processes when it comes to buying your second home and selling your first home. The reason why I say potential processes is because there's more than one way to go about this process. The first and the foremost is the simplest, the least stressful in a lot of ways. But for majority of people out there, it is not the way that they typically go when it comes to moving. That first way is to go find the home that you're looking for, put an offer on it, have your offer accepted, jump through the due diligence period, jump through the hoop of having your appraisal take place, and eventually closing on that home and slowly moving your things over from your previous home into the new home. Then, once you're officially moved over, you go over to your other home that you have lived in for a while, that you plan on selling, and you put that on the market as a means of selling it. The reason why a majority of people don't take this particular route is because a lot of people, their equity is in their first home. When I bought my first house, I put 3% down, me as an individual, and I really did as much as I could to try and fix up the house. So all of my money, all of my effort, all of my time, all of my resources went into building and growing the value of the home that I was in. So I didn't have a spot where I had, $20,000 sitting to the side that I can go purchase another home. While having this current one, I needed to sell my home in order to buy my next home. What that's called is a contingency. And right now it's really hard to have offers accepted in today's market with a contingency, with which one of the things that I want to say on here really quick, I had a conversation with somebody recently, actually twice, revolving around what type of market that we're in right now. And for some reason, somebody out there instructed this individual that we are in a buyer's market right now. To give you guys a quick idea of what the difference between a buyer's market and a seller's market is, in a buyer's market, that means that the buyer has the upper hand. A buyer can walk in and basically demand whatever it is that they want. They can lower the price when it comes to getting that house for the amount that they want it for. That's what a buyer has, multiple opportunities and multiple different homes to choose from. That is a buyer's market. In a seller's market, the seller has the upper hand. Majority of times when we are in a seller's market, it doesn't revolve around the interest rates. It revolves around the volume of homes, the amount of homes that we have on the market. You have less homes, there's less to choose from. The seller dictates the price. The seller dictates the terms for the most part when it comes to the sale of that home. In a buyer's market, it is the opposite. All that being said, if you're in a position where you're looking at this and going, hey, I need to sell my home and take the equity from my home and put it in the next one, in the home that makes more sense for our family and our circumstances right now, that is what's called a contingency. So you might go find the home that you're looking for and say, hey, I will pay you X amount of dollars to purchase this home from you. However, in order for me to buy it, there's no way for me to purchase this without selling my other home. So the sale and the purchase, my purchase of this house, is contingent upon the sale of this house. That's a contingency. That happens a lot in today's day and age. However, we're noticing it sellers, because we're in a seller's market, being in a position where they don't need to negotiate and they don't need to necessarily take the contingent offer, because they oftentimes have other offers that are on the table. which leads us to a kind of a conundrum in some ways of how do we as real estate agents help our clients make this transition from being a first-time home buyer to being a second-time home buyer where the house makes more sense for their circumstances. And the way that we do this, the third way, so the first way is I find a home, I put an offer and I have it accepted, and then I go put my house on the market. The second one is I find a home, I put an offer on that home, and it's contingent upon the sale of my current home. And the third way, and this is a way that I've seen work a lot lately, is I will put my house on the market and I will sell my home to you. However, the sale of my home is contingent upon me finding a home of my choice. That's another option. And the reason why we're in a seller's market, or the reason why that's something that's so possible right now, really revolves around the fact that we're in a seller's market. The seller can determine what it is that they want the terms and the conditions of that sale to be. So they can say, hey, you don't have to overpay for the house. Just give us 2 months to find a home. Give us 3 months to find a home. And that's how they're going about doing that, knowing that, hey, I'm netting what I need to when it comes to the sale, but I'm also buying myself time to be able to find the home that I'm looking for and potentially even close before I close on this home. The fourth way, and I'm not a huge fan of this option, but it is an option for people out there, so I want you guys to know about it, and that is what's called a bridge loan. There's been a lot of talk around bridge loans lately, and essentially what a bridge loan is it's going to the bank and saying, hey, I want to purchase a new home, but I currently have a home right now, and it's really difficult for me to get an offer accepted that's contingent upon the sale of my home. So do you have any options for me? And the bank, they created what's called a bridge loan. A bridge loan is taking those two homes, wrapping them up into one mortgage and having one mortgage payment on that, purchasing the next home, and then selling your current home and dumping the equity that you're getting from the sale of your home onto that mortgage. It sounds really good. There's nothing wrong with that. And it might be a great option for somebody out there. I personally don't think it's the best of options, mostly because whenever it is that we see people getting into loans similar to that, what often ends up happening is they get put in a spot where their interest rate is even higher than what the average interest rate is right now. And I'm talking like a percent and a half larger. I'm not a loan officer. I want to be very clear on this. I'm not a loan officer. So if there are loan officers out there who are listening to this, who know this better than I do, chime in. Tell me, hey, Rory, you're wrong. I'm okay with being wrong. Just in my experience and what it is that I've seen people who end up getting a bridge loan and their rate is actually a little bit higher than what they would have looking at some other options that are out there. Regardless, though, those are kind of the four ways to go about buying your second home in the process of selling your first home. First and foremost, you can buy the house and then go ahead and sell your current home after you've closed on both of them, right? The second option is hey, I'm going to wait. I'm going to go find a home and make the purchase of that home contingent upon the sale of my current house. Again, very difficult to have an offer accepted if you're in that position right now. The third option, which is a really great one because of today's market, I will sell my home to you contingent upon me finding a home of my choosing, of my family's choosing. I love this option. It's worked great for us in the past with a lot of clients. If you have more questions about it, hit us up. Happy to explain what that means and what the verbiage is with that sale and why it works for us. And then the fourth option, and again, I don't think this is the best option out of all four, but the fourth option being a bridge loan where you're wrapping up the two homes into one mortgage and eventually selling your other home and putting that down on the remainder of that mortgage. So those are the four ways. If you guys have other questions, or if maybe you're one of these people who are in this position where you're like, hey, I'm considering the idea of downsizing and getting into a condo, or hey, we just had baby number 2 or baby number 3, and this 3-bedroom, 1-bath house is just not cutting it. We need more space. Reach out to us. We're no obligation, first of all, and second, we want you to do what's truly best for you and your family, not just put your house on the market and find you something. We want you to be in the best position possible. So laying all these options out on the table, talking about it with your husband or your wife, talking about it with your kids if you want to bring them in the conversation, and really going, hey, what is the best route for us to run? What's the best way for us to go and being effective in this move without it being so stressful that we choose not to do it anymore? That is the heart behind what it is that we do. And like I said, if you guys have any questions about that, or if you'd love to sit down and have a conversation with us, I would be happy to do that. very thankful for you all. Besides that, you guys have a blessed day. See ya.